Hello everyone, welcome to Vision classes. It's a classes for IGCSE, GCSE, AS and A levels. Hi, hello everyone, welcome to Vision classes. It's a classes for IGCSE, GCSE, AS and A level student. So today we have to go through MCQs of physics, IGCSE physics question paper, and this is paper from November 2021. So here, we have some of the very interesting questions are there, and those questions we are gonna discuss here. Fine. And each and every question, okay, firstly just read the question, solve yourself. Fine. And then just understand whatever my explanation are. Fine. So here let's jump onto the questions. First one, for which purpose is the micrometer screw gauge suitable? Fine. So micrometer screw gauge is basically measuring the current in the coil. Doesn't make sense. Okay. Then measuring the diameter of the ball. Yes, of course, that's correct one. Then measuring the mass of the grain sand. Then measuring the movement used to turn the screw. No, doesn't make sense here. Fine. Last two. Okay. So here the micrometer screw gauge basically suitable for here diameter of the ball bearing that is known about 3 times 10 to the power of negative 3 meter. Fine. And this is just a theory part. So then next one, here we have a question. The graph shows how speed of the car varies with the time at start of the journey. So here the speed on the y-axis and the time on the x-axis, it's a given. All right. So speed time graph is given, which gives the idea about the acceleration. This is basic theory part. Now, which distance time graph represent the motion of car over the same period? Fine. So here, this is the speed time graph, and we have a here all these are distance time graphs are given. So first of all, to calculate the distance traveled, we have to calculate the area of the graph. Fine. So area of graph, it look like here this is triangle. Fine. So we have to calculate this triangle area, which is 1/2, base is 4 second times height is here 6 meter per second. So 4 times 2 is 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 times 6 is 12 meter is the actually distance traveled. Now here total distance traveled is 12 meter. We have to check in which of the graph we have a distance traveled is 12. If you look at it, we have a two graphs which represents the distance traveled 12 meter. Fine. Then secondly here this first one and second one. First one, the distance traveled actually goes on actually slightly curved or increasing one. And here distance covered initially more, then later on the slightly just comes to the constant, or just comes to the latter distance covered is lesser compared to initial one. Fine. So the more appropriate answer is basically it's a A1. Fine. Because this distance traveled by the curve initially it's lesser compared to second one. Fine. Then second reason why the first one is the right answer. So in the second case, the gradient is decreasing, but here the gradient is increasing, isn't it? In the original curve, right? So that's why the more appropriate answer is A rather than B. Fine. In the first case means in the first graph, the gradient goes on increasing. That's it. Then next one, which of the statement about the mass and weight is correct? So we have a mass is the property that causes change in motion. Mass is caused by the gravitational field acting on the weight. The weight is the property that resists the change in motion. Doesn't make sense. Weight is caused by the gravitational field acting on mass. So weight is equal to m times g. So this D is the correct one. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Fine. And here the mass is caused by the gravitational field acting on the weight. No, this is other way around actually. And this is also not true. Fine. Then which of the substance in the table has the lowest density we have to calculate or show here, isn't it? Now to show the or to calculate the density, we have to make another here column which represent the density. Rho is equal to mass by volume, and each and every case you have to calculate the mass by volume. So in first case, mass by volume, here 1.2 divided by 1 is just a 1.2. Then cotton 1.5 divided by 1 is 1.5. Fine. Then olive oil 1.8 divided by 2 is just a 0.9, right? And water, it's a 2 divided by 2 is just a 1, right? And here if you look at this one, lowest one is olive oil. The answer is C. That's it. Getting it? Then nextly, the diagram shows the uniform bar resting on two support P and Q. The weight of the bar is 4 Newton. What is the force exerted on the bar by support P? All right. So here we have a support FOP. Fine. So what is the force exerted on the support? Fine. Now to calculate this FOP, we have to take the moment at Q. This is, let's say, turning effect we have to take at Q, isn't it? Now we have weight of the bar. Weight of the bar is always at the center. So center is at 0.5. So it's a weight which is 4 Newton. Fine. Now if you just calculate the here distance, this is 60 minus 10 is 50. Fine. And this one is distance 10. All right. So why we have to calculate? Firstly, because we have to take the moment. So moment, I hope you might be knowing the principle of moment is basically anti-clockwise movement is equal to clockwise movement. Fine. So anti-clockwise movement is equal to clockwise movement. Anti-clockwise is basically this. So this weight is actually anti-clockwise, fine, movement. And then this F of force is just a clockwise movement. So anti-clockwise 4 times here 10, which is equal to FP. FP times distance is basically 50. Fine. So transfer this 50 to the left. So 40 over 50, which is equal to FP. And FP we will get is basically 0.8 Newton. Fine. That's it. That's the answer. All right. Then nextly, a spring which obeys the Hooke's law has an unstretched length of 10 centimeter is given here. A load of 20 Newton is suspended from the spring. The new length of spring is 36 centimeter. What is the spring constant? K here. So first of all here, unstretched length means this is, let's say unstretched length is 10 centimeter, right? And when you put, let's say here weight 20 Newton, here weight 20 Newton. So spring is stretched here and it will become 36 centimeter, isn't it? Now extension in this case E is equal to, or just X is equal to 36 minus 10, which is equal to 26 centimeter, isn't it? Now we have to calculate the spring constant. F is equal to here K times X. So K is equal to F over X. X is the extension, by the way. All right. So F is basically 20 Newton is given over X is 26. So if you calculate this one 20 by 26, we will get the 0.769, right? So 0.769 is nothing but you can write as a 0.77, which is the B answer. All right. So I hope you understood this part. Here just we have to calculate the spring constant K, which is nothing but F over extension X. So extension we got 26. 20 over 26 is 0.77. So this is the answer. Fine. Then nextly we have a cricket ball has a mass of 0.6 kg. Okay. The ball travels at 30 meter per second. Here it is given 30 meter per second. It's a speed. The ball hit the bat with the force of 10,800 Newton. After hitting, ball moves backward, isn't it? With speed of 30 meter per second in opposite direction. How long the ball in contact with the bat? So this, isn't it interesting? Here how long it's in contact with the bat, we have to calculate. Relation between impulse and change in momentum, we have to take and calculate the value. Impulse is equal to change in momentum. Fine. So it is equal to, the impulse is basically F into delta T is equal to change in momentum. Now mvf means the final momentum minus initial momentum, which is mvi. Now if we take, let's say, positive direction, this means rightward movement is, let's say, positive, and the ball moving negative means leftward, then we have to take the negative here direction. All right, rightward is positive, leftward is negative. Now here, what's the force at which ball hit the bat? Actually it's a 10,800 times delta T. That is what we have to calculate, because how long the ball in contact with the bat. And here mass is basically 0.16 times. Now final velocity here is negative 30, because leftward movement is negative, minus 0.16 times 30. All right, so even you can here straight away write 2 times negative, it's a 0.16 times 30, because it's the same, and here values are same, isn't it? And divided by 10800. Fine, that is the time we will get. Now if you do all this calculation in your calculator, we will get 0.00089 second. It's a time. Fine, isn't it too small? Yeah, that's it. Actually, I hope you must have been watching the cricket matches and all. If not, just to watch it. The ball, when the player actually bowls, there will be very minimal contact between the ball and bat will be there. Fine. Then next one, the electric energy may be obtained from the nuclear fission. In which order the energy transferred in this process? Here understand the nuclear fission process. So nuclear fission, splitting of a nuclear atoms, right? And then it bombard on the reactor, boiler, and then turbine, and then generator. That goes on. So the answer is D. The correct answer here is D. Then next one, which energy resource has the sun as its only source of energy? Now here if you look at this one, all the energy resources, geothermal, we obtain it from the earth. When the core comes in contact with the water, the steam comes out. Fine, that's a geothermal energy, right? It doesn't anything to do with the sun. Then nuclear, no, nothing to do with. Then next one is oil. So oil, we have to think it, because we have to go back to the ancient time when the fossil fuels, actually all the trees and animal buried under the surface, right? It is converted into fossil fuel. But before that, all these trees actually used sunlight to generate the energy, isn't it? So that is the basic theory we have to here utilize. So the oil is the energy resources, as the sun is the only source of energy because of photosynthesis. Tidal, no, nothing to do with it. Tidal, it's a different form of energy. Fine. I hope you got this explanation. Okay. Then next one, a man attached to an elastic cord jumps from the platform. He falls 60 meter before starting to rise. Means he goes the 60 meter downward. Okay, when he jumps. Fine. So let's say this is first. In the first diagram, I will explain it. It goes up to 60 meter. Then length of unextended cord is 30. Mean unextended is basically, let's say, just a 30. Fine. Then diagram shows the 4 successive stages in the fall. Which of the position the elastic, strain energy, and kinetic energy presents? Okay. So when here you have to take the consideration of man's weight as well. Okay. So there is, let's say, certain man's weight is there, and it also stretches the elastic cord. Okay. And this elastic cord stretch between 30 here, between 30 to 60. So you have to think in which diagram it is between 30 to 60. We have a C option here. You can see it's a 45 meter, and that is only option we have available here. So the answer is C. Getting it? So because of max weight, the unextended cord will stretch with a certain length, right? And we have to assume here it's a 45 meter. And that is how we have to come to the conclusion as well. All right. Here in the, in the MCQ question paper, you have to use your prior knowledge, little bit of tips and tricks, and little bit of thinking, logical way of solving the questions, okay, and come to the conclusion. And that is also right conclusion, not just the answers, isn't it? And that is how you can fetch the good marks. In the regular classes, I actually explain these kind of tips and tricks every other time. All right. So that helps the student to fetch the good marks. And recently, few years, many of our students got A star grade. Suppose if you want to connect with us, I have left the contact in the description box as well. Next one here. This is also kind of interesting question. Look at here. The diagram shows the three glass container, all three filled with water to the same vertical height is given. All right. The base of the P is equal to base area of R. All right. So here base of P, this one and this one same, right? This one same. And base of Q is larger than other two, means base of Q is larger than the other two. Now, student asked to compare the water pressure. Here we have to compare the water pressure, by the way, at the bottom of the each container. Getting it? Now, if you look at this one, what's the pressure formula we have? P is equal to rho GH. Now, P is directly proportional to H, isn't it? Then, here, does anything to do with this base? Answer straight away, no. All right. So now, look at here what the student one says. Student one says that pressure at the base of R is more than the pressure of base at P. Does it make sense? No. The second student says that the pressure at base Q is less than the pressure at base P. All right. No. Again, doesn't make sense here. Fine. And the student 3 says that the pressure at all three bases are same. So this does make the sense, right? And the answer is actually here D. Fine. Next one, liquid is evaporating. Liquid is not boiling. Okay. Liquid is evaporating but not boiling. So which of the statement about the liquid is correct at an instant in the time? All right. So here any molecule can escape and form any part of the liquid. Doesn't make sense again here. All right, because molecule can escape but not from the any part, because wherever the wind strikes the other, means the outer part, there those particle actually escapes. Fine. So this is just a basic theory from the evaporation. Then nextly, any molecule can escape, but only from the liquid surface. The second part is correct. First part is again not a correct one. The only molecule with, even though energy can escape, and only from the liquid surface. This one most appropriate, we can say. Fine. But we will read even D as well. Only molecule with enough energy can escape, but from the any part. No, again this does not make sense. Okay. So here, see, this is, let's say, surface area, and whenever there is a evaporation, basically the outer molecules actually escapes due to energy. Fine. That's the reason we have to explain. Then next one, the same mass of gas trapped in 4 identical container by piston that can move. The diagram shows the samples of gas in the different conditions of volume and temperature. So which list gives the pressure of the gas in order of lowest to highest? Now in this part actually we have to discuss a bit of the gas theory part and then come to the conclusion. Okay, so first of all, I hope you might be knowing the pressure PV is equal to constant, and that is the temperature. Fine. So PV, P is directly proportional to T over V. So this is the theory part we have to use here. All right, volume, V for volume and T for temperature, fine. So in case of first one, temperature is, let's say, lower compared to all four, isn't it? So temperature T is lower, but volume is greater, right? So it automatically pressure will become the lower one, fine. It's a lower. All right. So I would say here P1, which is lower. Then nextly, temperature is greater, isn't it? Volume is lower, temperature is greater, volume is lower, means it's a P2 will be greater. All right. Then temperature is same compared to the second one here. All right. So, and volume is again here greater, means it's a volume, the pressure will be lower. P3 is lesser than the P2. Fine. Then next one here we have third one. The temperature is higher. Fine. And volume is lower. And temperature is highest one basically. So P4 will be highest basically. Order it as a P4 is greatest. Then next one P2, then P3, and then P1. Fine. And find out this order basically. So 13th basically answer is 1, then 3, then 2, 1, 3, 2, and 4. So answer is B is the right one. This is how, means we have to jump to the conclusion. All right. The aluminium block has a mass of 200 gram. The specific heat capacity of aluminium is 900 joule kg degree Celsius. How much energy is needed to increase the temperature of the block from the 20 degrees Celsius to 110 degree Celsius? So here we have to calculate first of all energy. So energy is equal to mc delta T. Here I will write all this given data. M is equal to 200 gram is given, means it will be 0.2 kg. Then C is 900 joule per kg degree Celsius. Then delta T is basically 110 minus 20, which is 90. Now if you substitute in the formula, given formula, what we will get, it's a 0.2 times 900 times 90, isn't it? So the correct answer is 16,200 joule if you calculate in your calculator as well. Fine. So answer is C. Then the solid and the gas each given the same increase in temperature, gas is kept constant pressure. Fine. Gas is kept at a constant pressure. So which row is correct? We know that the particle model theory of gases, we have to recall here. Okay, solid and gases. Gas, if you increase the temperature, it will expand it. Fine. More compared to solid, isn't it? Solid having all the particles are stick together, so there is less space to expand, isn't it? So solid expands lesser compared to gas. So this is the option that we have to find out here. The first one is gas. The molecules in the gas each expand more than the solid molecule. This is the correct one, but doesn't make the sense because each fine word is there. Then next one, the gas is expand most. Yeah, that's correct one. So the molecules in the solid are held strongly together. That's the correct one. And it makes even more appropriate as well. And solid doesn't make sense as well. So A also cancel out. C and D also cancelled out. Answer left out is B. All right. That's a correct answer or reasoning. Fine. Then 16th one. Here diagram shows the pan used for cooking food. So we have a base of the pan and handle of the pan. So which row is the correct for the material used to make the base and the handle of the pan? If you think it, actually here the base of the pan must be the good conductor and the handle of the pan poor thermal conductor. That's the reason we have to support, isn't it? So this is what you have to find out in the options. So which one is the correct one? Base of the pan, good conductor. Handle, good thermal conductor. If it's a good thermal conductor, then our actually hands will burn, right? So that's not correct one. The base of the pan, good thermal conductor, poor thermal conductor, heat handle of the pan. So this one makes sense. Then poor thermal conductor, base of the pan, no. And these two options we can straight away cancel. Then in the diagram, the mountaineer can hear the stream although he cannot see. When he closes to the gully, here we have a gully, he can both hear and see the stream. When he is further from the gully, he can neither hear nor see the stream. So yeah, here means we have a three cases are there. One is basically mountaineer's ability to hear and see the stream changes. One is far away from the gully, right? Cannot hear and see the stream, right? Closest to the gully, basically can hear but cannot see the stream, isn't it? And at the gully, can hear and see the stream. These are the three conditions are there. We'll go through the options and jump onto the conclusion which one is the correct one. Here, sorry, not correct, we have to find out. So as he approaches the gully edge, he hears the first short wavelength, higher frequency, then long wavelength, lower frequency. Here the first one doesn't make sense actually. Why? Because see, there is a diffraction, basically bending of waves, right, around the obstacles and through the opening, and the sound waves with longer waves diffract more significantly than those with the shorter wavelength, isn't it? So longer wavelength are there, then and then its diffractions are possible. So this one doesn't make sense. We'll even analyze the B, C, D even. As he approaches the gully edge, sound becomes louder. Yeah, because the sound intensity decreases with the distance from the source, right? Mountaineers are coming closer, right? Intensity of the sound waves reaching will be increases. That's as simple as that. It's straightforward. This is correct one. And he hears the stream because some of the sound is diffracted. Yes, of course, because of long wavelength. Fine. He hears the stream because some of the sound is reflected from the opposite walls of the gully. Yeah, that's also true. All right. So the correct answer, which is not correct, that is the A one. Fine. So A is the option you have to write in this case. Then next one is which row correctly defines the frequency and the speed of wave. So here frequency basically number of waves. No, it's a frequency is basically number of waves per unit time, right? And the speed is basically distance traveled per unit time. That's a definition of speed. So here this number of waves get cancelled out. This is true, but here we have a distance traveled per unit time and number of waves passing per unit time. So correct option C. Then 19th one, ray of light travels from the air into the glass block. 3 suggestions as to how refractive index of the glass N may be calculated as listed. Fine. So first one is N is equal to VA upon VG. So here saying that the ray of light travel from the air into the glass, and the speed of ray, wavelength of ray, and frequency of ray in air and glass are given. Fine. So we have to jump to the conclusion that which one is the correct one. Fine. We have different formulas are given and we have to make the formulas. So first one here, N refractive index VA upon VG, that's a correct one. Fine. Then next one, second one, N is equal to lambda A upon lambda G is also correct one. Fine. And N is equal to FA upon FG doesn't make sense. This is not correct one even. All right. Here, refractive index, I hope you might knowing the definition that the ratio of speed of light in vacuum over speed of light in medium, isn't it? The frequency of light remains the constant as it passes from one medium to another medium, isn't it? So the more appropriate answer is B, because here frequency is FA is equal to FG. So this doesn't make sense. All right. So B is the correct one. Fine. Then next one, the diagram shows that ray of light in the air incident on the glass block, some of the light refracted and some of them reflected. So two angles P and Q are marked on the diagram. So this is incident ray. Here the angle of incident Q. All right. So here even the air and glass are given, and which row gives the angle of incident and the state whether total internal reflection occurs or not, we have to write. Total internal reflection occurs when the light travel from the denser medium to less denser medium, right? So angle of incident is basically greater than the critical angle. Then the total internal occurs. So light traveling from the medium with higher refractive index to the lower refractive index, isn't it? So the angle of incidence basically is Q, right? So we have two options, Q here, yes or no. So because the light traveling from the less dense means air, here it is traveling from less dense to the glass. So there is no total internal reflection. So the correct answer is C. Fine. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this whole discussion. Fine. This is first part. Second part, I will update subsequently. Just enjoy the physics. Fine. Thank you.